All right, I'm here. I made it. A little late. I have to admit, I was out picking up pizza, and then I got back like at 5 minutes to 6. So I'm trying to jam pizza in my face, and then I got the hiccups, so I couldn't go on and talk. Life gets in the way sometimes. Hey, welcome to Aaron Con 4. This is day 2 already. That's kind of something I'd be saying in San Diego. Actually, if I was in San Diego right now, I'd be saying, well, I think we still would have an hour left, maybe 2. I think it went till 8 o'clock, maybe even 9 now that I think about it. So I'd still be slogging my way through day 2, where right here, day 2 is just starting. You know, I have the wrong banner up, which seems, see, that's a day 1 banner. So, you know, I'm going to do an edit live. It won't take much effort here to change this. There we go. See, when you're eating and then giving yourself the hiccups and everything else, planning goes by the wayside. People are texting me. My son, he wants to know what comic book I'm looking at on eBay is up to right now. That shall remain secret for now. Okay, let's try it again. Hi, welcome to Aaron Con 4 day 2. We're going to do a lot of stuff tonight. I've got story time planned, and not really, but we're going to take a look at my table again quickly. I'm not going to spend as much time on that as I did last night, because a lot of you probably already seen it and probably don't want to see it again. Or maybe you go, Aaron, show me that stuff again, because I'm thinking about getting something and I really want to know what my options are. I'm going to do that. I may sketch in a book, because I have a couple waiting. We're going to work on a Thor Wonder Woman amalgam character sketch for somebody. And we're going to take a look at some artwork. Not necessarily the artwork we looked at yesterday, but I have a couple portfolios of artwork that I've kept for myself over the years. And a lot of people always kind of wonder, what does Aaron keep? What does he sell everything? Does he keep a few pieces for himself? Well, I've kept a few pieces for myself. We're going to take a quick look at some of those, and I'll give you a little background behind those when we get there. But right now, let's take a look on screen and see who's here. Let's see. Fly Fox Pro is here. Fly Fox Pro is always here, and I appreciate it. Did you eat bread too quickly or something? I had pizza, and it was thick crust, so it was kind of like bread. That's why I had the hiccups. Good that you got your hair cut. Zane Zelinsky out of Chicago. Maybe the only town more terrifying than Portland right now. John Smith says 7. I don't know what that means. Roscoe Davis is here and says hello. John Smith says Josh isn't here. He was just on the phone. Roscoe says, I have wondered that. You've wondered what? Nighthawk Warrior, he's saying hi to Roscoe. Oh, Fly Fox Pro wants to know if I have my old sketchbooks for sale too, or just the new one. No, I have old ones. Okay, I'm not going to bring them out. Well, maybe I should. I have to dig for them now, but maybe tomorrow. They're available on my website. So if you want to go take a look at some of my older sketchbooks, they're available on my website. And I will, you know, if you want to get some of those this weekend, I will ship them free shipping, just like the other books. So those are available, even though I don't have them out on my table. But I guess since I'm getting pressured now, apparently, I will pull some out and have them on my table tomorrow for Saturday. Johnny Fitz is joining us. So that is where Sludjar is. Saying you confuse me. You confuse me with your, he's a legal mind, Zane is. He's a lawyer, and he just confuses me. Jason Scanlon is here. Thanks, Jason. Nighthawk Warrior shared my live stream on his Twitter feed. That's awesome. And Facebook, thank you. Mike Gregory, hi, Facebook friend. Hi. John Smith. What time con? 7 o'clock. So John is, if we were in San Diego, we'd still have an hour left. So I'd really be pushing those sales hard. Let's see. Nighthawk Warrior. Now Nighthawk Warrior takes the time to say, hi, Aaron, how are you? I'm fine, Nighthawk. Thank you. Let's see here. Roscoe Davis says, Aaron's free shipping weekends are a deal. Got all my stuff from Aaron Con, and it's beautiful. Don't miss out. Thank you, Roscoe. Don Korn is here. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Don. All the way from someplace in Illinois, aren't you? Let's see. Hi. I didn't notice when Don Korn wrote this. Hi, Aaron. I don't know what he's trying to infer. Hopefully, I don't know what he thinks about me, but yeah. I'm not doing any weed, at least not tonight. I don't smoke pot. It's a joke. So, Aaron, how was your day? My day was hectic, as most of my days are. I was running around. I had to get new ink pens or black pens, markers, to remember Ms. Marvel from last night. I was going to finish that today. Didn't. Maybe I'll do a little touch-up on that while we're, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do crazy things. But let's see. Yep, Don Korn confirms he's in Illinois. Yeah, so I had a busy day, crazy day. I always think I set the time and I think I'm going to be ready to go and go live at whatever time I set, and I'm never ready. Oh, I can't confirm this, but I may have Terry with me tomorrow for part of the show tomorrow. We'll see. I'm working on it. It hasn't been confirmed, but I think it's a strong possibility. I'm going to go early tomorrow, probably at 10 a.m. So watch for my little banner that I'm going to post on Facebook and Twitter. But I think probably 10, maybe 10:30. It depends on Terry. If Terry bails on me, I may wait till 11. If he has to come in early, I may go at 10. So keep your eyes open for that. If you're up that early tomorrow, go ahead and check Facebook and see what I've posted and see if I'm on. Okay. Well, I do know that I'm on right now. Let's take a look at the table, shall we? We'll just turn the camera around. Ugh, it's like a dizzy, sickening ride at Disneyland. Okay. We know the banner. We know all the garbage that I'm hiding in my studio. There's a bookcase. Look at those Herculoids playset up there on top of the bookshelf. Okay. So you're saying, Aaron, what are you pushing today? Well, you know what? I'm pushing the same stuff I was pushing yesterday. We've got Raw Imagination, 20 years of sketches. That's a hardcover, 64-page full cover sketchbook. It is my final sketchbook. I will do no more sketchbooks. That's it. I'm closing the door on them. I can't make it any more clear. It's limited to 750 copies. If you don't have one, I'd urge you to get one. They are, drum roll please, although you all, I'm sure, already know this, but there it is on the scroll. They're $25 a piece, $45 for the sketch inside, free shipping this weekend only. And we're actually going to be doing a sketch in one of those in a little bit later, so I'm not going to crack it open right now. You remember these comics from last night? Or yesterday, excuse me. I have Justice League 41. I have both covers, alternative and the regular cover. 42, I only have regular covers left. I have Aquaman issue 56. That's over here. I have both the variant and the regular edition. I did neither, so I have no preference to which one you would get. Justice League 48, both covers. 49. I believe that I am out of the alternate covers for 49. So all I have is I have a few more 48s, alternate versions, and several 41s, no 42s, and no 49s. And of course, we have Infinite Crisis over there. If you did not pick that up, you should. It's really good. And it's by James Tynion, who is the Batman writer right now. He's getting quite rave reviews for his work on that. So, okay. So as we look down here at the comics, you're saying, what else do you got, Aaron? I know you're not saying that, but I'm going to force it upon you anyway because it's my live feed. I can do whatever I want. course, you can, shut me down anytime you want as well. Okay, why don't I zoom out a bit? I'll go through these quickly because I know that all of you have seen this stuff before. I got a strange band of light coming right through there. It's out of that window over on that side. Anyway, okay, so this is my Supergirl San Diego 1946 print. I'm still going to zoom out even more. Oops, that's the wrong way. Man, I am flying by the seat of my pants tonight. Okay, $15, no shipping. That's based on Lana Turner. Spider-Man, it's just called Amazing. Signed and numbered, $15, free shipping. Coral Princess, sort of looks like the Little Mermaid, except the Big Mermaid, $15, no shipping. Rosie the Riveteer, we can do it. We can do it. You can do it for $15, no shipping. Little Leaguers, celebrate the return of baseball. No connection, but Jaws, I want to remind you, this is the 11x17 Jaws print. I also have a 24x36, like movie poster sized, almost movie poster sized, print of this as well for $40. I only have 5 of those. If you want one to hang on your wall like a Jaws movie poster, get in touch with me. $40. No free shipping on that because I'm not even sure how much it is. I think it's like $8. I'd have to weigh the poster tubes. But anyway, I've got 5 of them. Just 5, and that's it. So if you want one, let me know. Star Wars Princesses. Textured paper. That's $15, signed and numbered, limited edition. No charge on the shipping. Girl Power. Warrior in Repose. Warrior Nouveau, one of my all-time popular prints. And then, of course, the newest one, the Captain America print, Captain's Quarry, featuring, excuse me, I went down the wrong tube, featuring his villains. MODOK, Baron Zemo, the originals only, of course. Yellow Claw, Baytrock the Leaper, kind of tiny in there. Madam Hydra, remember her? Red Skull, and Nightshade. So anyway, those are the prints I have available. Those are all $15. They're all signed. Most of them are signed and numbered. Some of them are not limited edition, but most of them are. They're signed and numbered. Free shipping this weekend. Okay. Now I want to go over the Justice League art real quickly again. I did have some people contact me about this, so that was great. But prices, you're going to have to contact me to get the prices. But cool double-page flash spread. Still have that from issue 42. It's a nice little Superman punching the Eradicator page from, that's Justice League 41. There's a nice page with all the Justice League on it. I do have better scans of all these available. Here we go. That's a pretty good Justice League page. It's got a nice close-up of Wonder Woman up there, Superman down here at the bottom. You don't want to see that one. Some more Justice League stuff. Nice shot of Flash, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and the Eradicator up there. Ooh, look at that. Flash splash. He's just standing there. He's not running. Let's see what else we got here. This could be interesting. This is kind of a Flash-centric issue. It's got Batman and a lot of nice Flash stuff on it. Ooh, Wonder Woman getting killed by the Eradicator. That's always good stuff. Oh, Wonder Woman getting killed by the Eradicator. It's more good stuff. There we go. Batman with Madam Xanadu down there in the bottom, and the rest of the Justice League. This would be a less expensive page, I would imagine, out of all those. It does have Justice League on it. Does some interesting shots, though. I probably don't want to see that. Oh, that's a good one. It's got Wonder Woman, Flash, some groovy. That's a good Batman page right there. Look at that with Madam Xanadu, big old Batman head right there. That's cool stuff. Here's another Batman page with Madam Xanadu. This is a nice page. Got Green Lantern at the top, Superman here, Flash here, Wonder Woman there, the whole gang. Here's another Flash-centric page, if you're into the Flash. Getting chased down by the Eradicator and his goons. All right, those are the pages I have from Justice League 41 and 42, still available for sale. You may remember, here's the good ones from 48 and 49 that I have. I also have the pages from 50, but since 50 is not out, I can't show you. There's a nice another splash with Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern on it. Splash page with the alien monster eating an alien ship. You can't get any better than that. Look at this. Who doesn't want an explosion with nothing else on the page? See, there would be an inexpensive page. But it does have shots of Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, and big old spaceship. I may keep this page here simply because, well, no one would want it anyway because it's just full of aliens, but it does have a cool Superman shot down here at the bottom that I really like. There's some more aliens and Flash and Wonder Woman, Superman. I mean, it is Justice League, so you pretty much figure out that most of these pages, all the characters are going to be on them. That's a Superman-centric page. There's Wonder Woman, Superman, and the gang. Nice big close-up of Wonder Woman there at the bottom. There's some more alien action with the whole gang right there in this panel. Explosive action as alien robot attacks. This is a nice little page of Wonder Woman out in her space armor and Flash in the hull of the alien ship with all the little alien children. There's a nice little shot of the Justice League walking out of the building, and they're in the building. Yeah, this is kind of a cool page. I think I showed you this one yesterday. You got your monster, you got Superman, you got Green Lantern, you got close-up of Batman, and you've got Batman and the Flash. And this whoop right there, in this panel right here where their little Justice League jet is flying and they're actually turned upside down, and Flash is getting ready to barf, looking for a place to barf because he's getting sick. This is the very first page to that issue 48, which I think is kind of a cool page. I don't know, I might keep that one as well. Would be a more inexpensive page. Got Wonder Woman, Flash in here, and some aliens. Another Wonder Woman centric page. Superman and the Flash. It's a nice Flash page. It's kind of funny. I won't spoil the joke. You need to read the comic. I kind of like this page, even though there's nothing really on it of interest to most people. But it has a panel of Wonder Woman's telling a story of this giant who conquers or saves these people, and then the people want her to rule. She doesn't really want to, but she does anyway, and it ends badly, of course, which is a metaphor for the alien story that the Justice League is going through at this point. There's another nice page, Batman and Wonder Woman conversing. It's a nice Superman page. More Batman and Wonder Woman. Nice looking Wonder Woman page there. This is a good page. I like this page a lot. You got Batman and Superman at the top. Superman, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman. It's a nice page. There's a killer splash page of what's his face, John. Almost said John Smith, but we know it's not John Smith. It'll come to you in a minute. Anyway, Green Lantern. Oh, we already saw that. So anyway, those are the pages that are from 48 and 49 that I have available for purchase. You can contact me on my through Facebook or Twitter, or email me, aaron@aaronlopresti.com, and ask me about those if you have any interest in such things. Let's see here. Quickly, you guys have probably seen these before, but let's take a look at the covers that I still have for sale here. That's the last remaining Conan Wonder Woman cover I have. Over here we have the Herculoids cover and Damage Annual #1 cover. These are all covers, of course. That's kind of a cool cover. It has Deadman and Superman on it, and the rest of the Justice League KO'd around them. And then, of course, Damage eating Fing Fang Foom. That's covers 12 and 15 respectively. And then, of course, the last issue of Damage, issue number 16, reminiscent of Spider-Man 50 for those of you who collect old comics. Legends of Tomorrow #1 featuring Firestorm, inked by Matt Banning. These are the last two Amethyst covers I have. I inked these myself. This is a wraparound with
oh, what's his face, Eclipso. So it's a gatefold cover, I believe is the proper terminology. Got a couple of Wonder Woman covers here that are still here, which surprises me. But then again, I haven't been to any shows, so maybe it doesn't surprise me. They ain't cheap, but they are Wonder Woman covers and inked by me. A couple of Archie covers. It's my daughter, so I probably really should keep this one, but you know, there it is anyway. This Superman cover was for a Walmart 100-page giant. I don't think it ever got used. I don't know why. Hawkman, Death of Hawkman covers. Still got a few of those left. That's the original to the San Diego print. The original to the Little Leaguers. The original to, what's her face? The Big Mermaid. This is a Wonder Woman cover that didn't get used. I don't know if it's going to get used or what, but they changed the content of the issue right after I did the cover, which seems sort of counterproductive, but that's what happened. I've got a couple of Red Sonja Tarzan covers left. This is one of my faves. There's another one here, over here. This is an Injustice cover. Ninjak with a big old Chinese dragon on it. Can't get, you know, you can't beat that with a stick, right? This is a double page spread I did for Toy Fair magazine that has like the most powerful hero clicks on it. It's actually kind of a cool piece. Turok covers. This is the all new Turok, not the old Turok. Oh, look, I've got roughs, you know, like this damage rough from a cover. Here's a rough from, these are full size 11x17 roughs from one of the Hercules covers. There's a Hercules cover. I got halfway through inking it, and I was like, you know what? Igu is not big enough. So I started all over. So that's like a half finished cover. There's the pencil to the Ninjak. Pencil to the Death of Hawkman as Hawk Girl killing Hawkman, even though she's not even in the issue. Here's a blue line rough for the splash page of one of the Wonder Woman issues I did. And these are kind of cool. And here they sit, which surprises me. Maybe there's any Dark Crystal fans out there, but there's the old Ancient One dudes, whatever they're called. I can't remember. The Skeksis, Chamberlain probably. Let's see who that is. And then there's a kind of a groovy Lord of the Rings one right here. I had some guys interested in this. They wanted me to come down in the price, and it was only $150. I'm like, dude, I'm not coming down any lower than that. Come on, it's only $150. So anyway, all this stuff is available. If you see something in there that's kind of interesting, after this whole thing is over, you can, you know, go back and freeze frame the video and check the pages out, get in touch with me, and, you know, we can discuss prices and all that kind of good stuff. All right, so let me move the camera, so I can sit down. So old guys need to sit once in a while. All right, I'm going to look at the comments. Holy smokes, we got tons of comments. So let's find out what people are saying and why as we take a look at these. Well, how far back do I have to? Oh boy, there's a lot of talking going on here. Who's here? Oh, Cheryl Lane's back. That's my cousin. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks for joining. Christiana is here. She's my second cousin. Camellia says hi, Husker's dad. Husker is the name of my dog. I'm a Nebraska fan, so you know, what are you going to do? Well, I say tell Camellia if she's listening right now. Hi, Camellia. Okay. Let's see. I'm reading. Let's see. I have a nice live stream, Aaron, and all. Chat. Bye. Oh, well. Nighthawk Warrior stopped in, and now he's leaving me. He may have already bailed out. Oh, Johnny Fitz is on his way out. I guess somebody found something better to watch. Let's see. That was the official print of the Comic-Con in 1946. It actually was. Let's see. Yes, Johnny, I have a ton of prints. Years of doing them, actually. All right. Let's get in here and see if we can battle the reflection and take a look at, these are pages that I kept for myself. Tony wants to know how we buy pages. Tony, you contact me, man. either email me at aaron@aaronlopresti.com. Let me do this real quick. There is all my info right there, scrolling across the bottom of the page. Or you can just get with me on Facebook or Twitter, depending on what social media you're at. You can message me at either one of those, and then tell me what you want or what you're interested in. I can send you scans of the pages so you can get a better look at them. I'll give you the prices, and that's kind of how we do that. The amethyst covers look good. Thank you, Fly Fox Pro. I appreciate that. Hyper Potato says Amethyst is one of my all-time favorite characters. I love Aaron's art on her. Wish Dan Mishkin and Aaron would team up on a revival. You never know. The Turok one with all the black looked rad. Thank you. I saw lots of interesting things. Now to go tell the wife how much I need them. Good luck with that. Stephen Ng is joining us. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for dropping by. Michael Gregory, they'll try and batter you down from 150 on that beautiful piece and then go ahead and pay 250 for the random pop figure. Exactly. That's how it works. Ashley McCraner, is that John Smith's? It has to be. Daughter. Hi, Ashley. I can't remember your last name. Your married last name, that is. Yeah, see, look at Humphrey Bear. I'm with you, man. Nighthawk stays for like 2 minutes and then he says peace out and leaves. It's outrageous. Rodney Ulabari is here. Hello, Rodney. Thanks for coming by. Winston Go. Always happy to see you. By the way, day 1 was very good. We'll see day 2 in a bit. Thank you, Winston. Okay. Now I want you guys to take a look. I'm going to force you to take a look at some of the pages I've kept for myself. Now that's actually a better angle like that. That's from, I did a What If Avengers Disassembled book with Jeff Parker writing, and that's a Ms. Marvel panel page with the Beast. And I don't know, for some reason I just kind of liked it because of all the linear panels and stuff, and or vertical panels, I guess. So it's kind of fun. So I kept that one. Now here's a She-Hulk page from the same issue. And again, I don't know why. I just really kind of dug this panel. And so I thought, you know what? I'm keeping it. This one I kept because of the Beast's close-up of his face here. And that's from the same issue. I'll check this out. Now, it should be obvious why I kept this page. On this single page, Falcon, Daredevil, close-up of the Falcon, Iron Fist, come on, man, the Watcher, and then Scott Summers' Cyclops coming out of the shadows. And I also inked this page myself, which is probably one of the other reasons I kept it. And this one I inked myself too from this issue. And I kept it because the Watcher's on it. I'm kind of like MODOK, the Watcher, any sort of weird oddball character like that, you know, it's my favorite. All right, this is kind of cool. I did a Legends of the Dark Knight story. Let me change my banner here. Since we all know this is AaronCon 4, day 2, I can now switch, or I can just hide that and just use my little Aaron Lopresti banner. Okay, this is from a Legends of the Dark Knight story I wrote, penciled, and inked called I, Batman. But this is actually Clayface. And I had matching pages with the Joker, Killer Croc, and Clayface. They all were the same layout, 2-page sequences. And I just, for some reason, I always dug Clayface. So I kept that one, sold the Joker one, which is actually a really nice page, and the Killer Croc, which is actually a really nice page. If you haven't seen this, I actually have copies of this Legends of the Dark Knight. I have a few copies. So if you'd like to get that signed and read my Batman story that I wrote, penciled, and inked a few years ago for DC, contact me and I'll hook you up. All right. This is a double-page spread that was from Convergence. So this is like the front half of it. And it basically, you can see why I kept it. Because my son told me to. That's actually why I kept it. But you got like Superman. You've got Blue Beetle back there. I think there's Hawkman back here. And Metamorpho, Harley Quinn. I can't remember who that is. Catwoman's getting roughed up back here. Batman, the Owl, something like that. one of the Exterminators, Green Lantern, Supergirl. I don't know who that is. Shazam or Captain Marvel. Lex Luthor's up here. Kingdom Come, Superman getting rocked. That's Earth 2 Superman getting rocked by Shazam. Gorilla Grodd's over here. Aquaman. Excuse me, that's not COVID, by the way. So anyway, pretty obvious why I kept that double page spread. Now this is kind of interesting here. This is Warlord's wife, right? In the previous issue of Convergence, Warlord gets killed. So his wife shows up later and actually kills the bad guy, right? Well, they thought after seeing that, they're like, we need somebody bigger to kill him. So they brought in Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, to kill him. And so this whole thing got scrapped. So Mark Morales had inked the first, he inked this as well. He inked the whole issue as well, but he inked this first panel. Then I was like, Mark, they changed everything. So anyway, so I got this cool panel inked by Mark Morales, and the rest is pencils by me. So it is kind of unique. So that's why I kept it. There's prices on here, but it's not because I'm selling them. This is a Conan story I did for Dark Horse Presents. If you didn't see that, it's an 8-pager. I wrote and penciled it, and Matt Banning did the inks on it. Very nice work on this. And so that's an 8-pager in Dark Horse Presents 24. I may have a few copies of that as well if someone's interested. Ashley, I love that you don't know their names. Hey, you've drawn a lot of characters and sometimes you just forget. All right. I did a Deadpool issue, Deadpool -1 years ago for Marvel, and it was a Steranko tribute issue. So all my layouts and approach was all very Steranko-esque. And I kept this page because I think I inked it myself. Rachel Dotson actually inked the issue, but I think we were a couple pages behind or something, so I had to come in and ink a couple pages. And I inked this one, so I kept it. There's the second part to that right there. Right here, I inked this as well, so I kept it. Now this is kind of cool. This is from Uncanny Doctor Doom X-Men Annual from like '97, and Art Taber inked this. The old gentleman. Keep hitting the keyboard. Anyway, it has this incredibly cool big shot of Doctor Doom right in the middle, so that's why I kept that. All right, this is an interesting tale here. Back when I was in a studio called Studiosaurus back in the mid-90s, Terry and I were in the studio together with other people like Matt Haley, Ron Randall, Carl Kiesel, Matthew Clark, Tom Simmons, Rachel Dodson, who am I forgetting? Randy Emberlin. But anyway, oftentimes when someone would get behind, they would say, hey, Aaron, can you help out, or whoever. Terry was doing this issue of Excalibur, and so I had to come in and do a couple pages, which I also inked myself. So I had this kind of cool shot of Colossus there, and I figured, well, I may never draw him again, so I better keep it. So I did. And I also inked that myself. So, all right, now check this out. This, I keep hitting my keyboard with this artwork. Okay. This is, you guys, seriously, you should come to expect this kind of great production value for my videos. Johnny Fitz is heading out. I'm putting him to sleep. Okay. Mike says hi. You must be talking about Mike Miller, probably doing a live feed right now. Okay. This is from Excalibur. I asked Chris Claremont to work in Doctor Strange if he could. I really didn't, it wasn't ever in his plans, but he did. He worked him in to this kind of story where apparently Professor X and Doctor Strange shared some Vietnam experiences or something, or Korean War. I can't remember what it was. But anyway, so I got to draw the splash page of Doctor Strange. Okay, so I did this splash page. Marvel does a toy based on this splash page. And how do I know that? I know it because they used this little stand-up thing in the background on the diorama for the toy. And they never sent me one. So it's got all this smoke down there and this kind of thing behind it in the background diorama. I need to go buy one. I just keep forgetting to. They're not like worth a ton of money or anything. It just, okay. A Herculoids page I particularly liked from Future Quest, from the original Future Quest #3. I also did Future Quest Presents featuring the Herculoids, but this is from, and I think Carl Kiesel inked this. Yes, he did. Metamorpho. I figured I'd keep some Metamorpho pages because no one's going to buy them anyway, right? Matt Banning inked these, did a terrific job, at least on the first 2 issues until he bailed out on me. The only time I ever worked with Jonathan Glapian, he just happened to have a hole in his schedule. Matt Banning had just left to do some Batman stuff with Finch, so I was like, I need an inker, and he had sent out like it was really bizarre because he'd sent out a Facebook post or something going, hey, does anybody need an inker? I'm in between jobs. I'm like, yeah, hello. So he came in and inked this 1 issue for me and did a really terrific job. I was amazed to find out that he's a brush inker because his stuff looks very much like pen, which just, you got to pat the guy in the back for having such incredible control that he can use a brush and make it look like a pen, because that's exactly what he's doing. So anyway, that was a really cool splash page, and so I kept it. That's from the Metamorpho thing. This is from Sentinel Squad. This is another interesting excuse me, an interesting page. Norm Rapman inked this because John Layman was writing, and he was like, hey, what do you want to draw? I'm like, can you work the Hulk in? And so we did this little Hulk segment. And Marvel has used this actually for like poster art and some other promotional art for the Hulk. So they've got some mileage out of it. That's kind of a cool shot. So that's why I kept it. Okay, and in the Sentinel Squad as well, Layman again, hey, what else do you like to draw? I go, how about, can we work in Galactus and the Silver Surfer? And he did. So Norm got the Silver Surfer page, but it wasn't a splash. It was only like a half-page splash. It was still cool, but I really wanted this Galactus page, so that's the one I kept. This is from Wonder Woman something or other. It was a 2-issue Wonder Woman thing where the Joker's a vampire, everybody's a vampire. And we did these, it was a 2-month drop in the schedule because it was at the time when DC was moving its offices to Burbank. So what were these things called? It was Wonder Woman something. Wonder Woman something. Anyway, so I kept this. Was the first page. It was Joker as a vampire, and and Etta Candy with a vampire bites in her neck, laying there dead. And that was Matt Banning ink this as well. Okay, now we're back to Matt Ryan as my inker. This is Conan Wonder Woman. I kept quite a few of these pages. I really like this shot here, so I kept it. Here's one of the crows eating an eyeball. Come on, who doesn't want to keep that page? Actually, I kept it because this guy's face. I really liked how it turned out. This is just another page I like the layout, the use of blacks to really sort of solidify everything. So I kept that one. And then, of course, this is part of a double page spread. You can't see Wonder Woman's face very well. You get an eye and nose up there a little bit. But I really like the figure. And I got this huge crowd back here. And this is a double pager, right? So the crowd continues over here. And here's some more of the dudes that are in the arena with her. So I just kept that. I kept this one. This is Conan fighting Wonder Woman. Wow. How inappropriate today's society to have Conan punching a woman. But he does. KOs her. So I had to keep that. And then, of course, they battle great white sharks. And anytime a great white shark is on a page, I'm keeping it. So it's my shark page. Now this I probably wouldn't have kept, but I realized that I'd left a panel out after I'd drawn this. And it wasn't until Matt had finished halfway inking it. Oh, no, that's not correct. I'd penciled it, but realized that I'd left a panel out. So I told Matt, I said, ink the top 2, and then I'll send you a page, with the corrections for the bottom half of the page. And then we'll just combine them in Photoshop. So basically, it's not really a sellable page unless someone wanted the experience of having a half-finished page. But this is really cool. It's got all these barbarians fighting each other, and the 2 witch sisters here, Conan on a horse. I don't know where the other half of that page is. It's probably behind us someplace. But anyway, then I've got Conan and Wonder Woman brawling patrons in a tavern. That's always good stuff. Now I kept this because this is drunk Wonder Woman down here at the bottom. She's just like passed out, and the barkeep is like lifting her head up. You can see she's passed out on the table right there. This is good stuff. So I kept it. Conan and Wonder Woman kiss. I figured I'd better keep that page. And then this just splash page of Conan sticking his sword through the skull of this goblin dude. I mean, come on. Come on. You got to keep that, right? So I did. These are pages from an X-Men story, backup story I did that Danny Mickey inked, and because Danny inked it, I kept him, most of the pages.
Well, that's a good idea.
And it's got Sunfire on here with his legs amputated, which is super gross. Shelley drops in to say hi. John Smith is in here, I think, and Ashley, the daughter of John Smith, is in there.
Oh, very cool. Let's see.
Lloyd showed up. Hello, Lloyd. Thanks for
There's
joining
Ashley.
us. Yeah, there's John Smith. See, he's right there.
There he is. Winston.
Winston Go from the
Way
Philippines.
to go, Winston. Almost named the dog Winston.
That's actually true. All right, so let's take a quick look, and then I'll start drawing. You guys are like, come on, Aaron. You're putting me to sleep.
Oh, but that's a good idea. Show
We
that.
gotta mix it up, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the cover to Marvel Avengers. Okay, Marvel Adventures Avengers. Okay, it was like the kids
Wow,
line.
that's impressive.
I wanted to actually draw this, but I was making my page rate was too high. Didn't fit their budget, so I couldn't actually draw the book because it was like old Silver Age style, stories with Jeff Parker was writing. But I inked these myself, so I kept this cover, and then this one is issue 2, where basically all the Avengers, including Spider. I mean, look who's in this team: Spider-Man, Storm, Iron Man, Cap, Wolverine, Hulk. Come on, seriously. So I kept that one mainly because the leader, and I used the old-fashioned one. Remember when they changed him into a broccoli head for a while? I drew the classic leader down there, so that's the main reason why I kept this. Okay, now you're looking at this and saying Countdown. This is a series I did for Wildstorm back when I was completely unemployed and begging for work, and Scott Dunbier hooked me up with this. Jeff Marriott wrote it. And the reason I kept it, because it's a cover of an old cowboy eating a piece of pie with a super team out the window, but come on. Come on, an old cowboy eating a piece of pie? That's a keeper. All right, now here's some really quality stuff. Tim Townsend inked my covers for Excalibur. This is one of the Dark Beast. This is by far the best cover. He was like, Aaron, can I have that cover? I'm like, no. He got some good covers. He just sold them anyway, so I know he would have sold this or traded it for something. But you have to see the original to really appreciate how cool that is. But he really did a tremendous job. And then he inked this one as well, because like I said, he inked all my covers. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit now. Now the story on this, if you can see all these like skulls and bones and stuff, there's a story that Wrightson did called The Muck Monster in a creepy magazine back in the 70s. It's a color story. You can find it anywhere on the internet. But there's this scene where Dr. Frankenstein is kind of, the whole thing didn't work out. So he sort of like melts down the body of the creature and then like pours it down through this grate. And apparently his like mansion is up on a hill, and the ooze from the body kind of, trails down the mountainside. And it's very similar to this. There's like bones and remains in the rocks and stuff. And so this is kind of like my tribute to Wrightson. I didn't copy it. Like I didn't look at the page and go, oh, and try to make it look exact. It just, the concept I used. And you can see that Tim really did a great job with the inking. Okay, there's one guy who's been trying to buy this cover from me for years, but this is from Hulk Destruction #4. And I'm like, when am I ever going to do another Hulk cover? I may never do another Hulk cover, so that's not going anywhere until I do another Hulk cover that I like better. This also looks eerily similar to a Mike Zeck Hulk annual cover, and that I've never seen until someone pointed out to me, like, hey, that looks like the Mike Zeck cover. And I'm like, what Mike Zeck cover? And I went and looked it up, and I was like, oh my gosh. So check out the Hulk annual cover by Mike Zeck, and it looks very similar to this, but I swear I didn't rip it off. I didn't even know about it. All right, there's a cover to the Metamorpho trade paperback. Matt Banning inked that. Metamorpho was originally going to be its own miniseries, and then Dan DiDio, as he often did, changed his mind on us at the last minute. And so this was the cover to issue number 2 of Metamorpho, but then we never used it because it became part of an anthology. And so I think this ended up in the trade paperback in the back. But yeah, that was and I inked this myself, and I think it turned out pretty well, so I kept it. Garbage Man, this is the cover to My Greatest Adventure number 1, which is one of the miniseries, anthology miniseries that Garbage Man ran through. And so, of course, I drew it and kept it because it's a Garbage Man cover. Mystic, you remember her from CrossGen, right? Awful Redneck Gaming says, that Hulk is absolutely stunning. I'm going to put it up there. Thank you, Awful Redneck Gaming. I really appreciate you saying that. Oh, no notification. YouTube hates me. That's some Frazetta looking stuff right there. Well, there's no line about that. Okay, where are we at? There we go. We got a Garbage Man call out. Matt is a nice guy. Matt Banning. Okay, so okay, let's get back to it. So this is My Days at CrossGen. Now, Mystic, this is a Mystic cover, and you'll notice all these math equations up here. Well, Tony Bedard created this. I guess we co-created because I did the visual design, but he came up with a character, this evil wizard, that all of his stuff was based in math and science. So all of his magic was based in math and science as opposed to some sort of mystical thing. So it was actually kind of a cool concept. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have her being crushed by all these mathematical equations? Well, my wife's a math teacher. I certainly am not. And so I got all these equations from her and put them in here. And so that's why I kept the cover, because it's really a tribute to her helping me out on this cover. So I kept it. This is I probably would sell this, but I just like the figure. And you can't see it here. This is from Rebels number 27. I pulled a Walt Simonson. You remember an issue of Thor he did with Beta Ray Bill, where he's smashing the logo and the letters are, bursting out all over the place. So I kind of did that here with Rebels. I had the letters all jacked up and all over the place, but it was on a separate layer. So, but anyway, I don't know. I felt like this character had a lot of physical weight and volume to it, probably because of the way I used the shadows on it. So that's why I kept that. But, I don't know if I'd be opposed to selling it or not. I kind of dig it. So, excuse me. Awful Redneck says, I backed the $100 tier on Garbage Man. I was sad to see it fall short of its goal. Man, so was I. I really thought I was gonna have that. I was gonna go, but oh well. But thank you for backing. I appreciate it. I got other stuff coming up, so you'll get another chance. All right, Superman 80-page giant. Okay. Of course, I penciled and inked this as well, and I actually did the logo myself because it was part of that meteor that he's holding up. And again, at the time I did it, I'd never done a Superman cover before, so I was like, I better hang on to this. I've done a few since, but they're all gone now, but I still have this. My original concept idea, and I get a load of this, was Superman sitting on the roof ledge, so we're sort of looking up at him, and he's got a bunch of long boxes of comics stacked up, and he's up there with a little kid, and they're reading through a Superman comic. Okay, and I loved it because to me it was like, if you're familiar with 40s comics, which I know Lloyd is, that's such a DC or even anybody 40s comic. You can just see Shazam or Captain Marvel sitting up there in the 40s, reading a Captain Marvel comic with a kid. And I thought that was the cover I really wanted to do, but they were like, no. So I ended up doing this. This is the Turok cover I kept, mainly because of that T-Rex in there. I inked this myself. It's a little bit more open in terms of, there's not a lot of line work in it, like in the T-Rex and stuff. I mean, there's some, but it's because I did a lot in the coloring. So But I kind of thought it was cool to put this old car in there, and you have Turok jumping over the car, and then you got the T-Rex about to bite him. And so anyway, yeah, kept that because of the T-Rex. There's the other Garbage Man sludge. The other Garbage Man cover I did. Now this is the fun one because it's kind of like the Star Wars garbage compactor scene. So I got these worms in here that really aren't having nothing to do with anything in the book. That's Tanga, which is Kevin Maguire's character, and then there was a Lobo story running there that Jerry Ordway drew, but I can't remember who wrote it. So because it's an anthology book, I had to include all the characters, but since I was drawing it, I was going to put Garbage Man in the forefront. What was kind of fun was dropping all this stuff in the garbage. You can't really see up here. There's like a Converse tennis shoe up there. There's actually a stormtrooper buried in here. Where is he? I think he's, I don't know if you can make him out right there. I think Fozzie Bear is in here someplace. So yeah, I had a little bit of fun filling in all that garbage. This was a book I did for Wildstorm with Mark Wade. It was during the I'm unemployed, please help me. And this is the cover I did. It was basically it was Wetworks, but kind of as a 1950s Sea Devils team. So it's kind of fun. So anyway, I kept that because I like the cover. These are my covers for Power Cubed. This is available in trade paperback. If you missed the miniseries through Dark Horse, it is in a trade paperback, so you should be able to find it if you haven't checked it out. But I kept I wrote, penciled this, and inked the first issue. I inked all the covers. Mark Morales inked the second issue, and then Mark, oh gosh, he's going to kill me. Oh, for crying out loud. It'll come to me in a minute. Sorry, Mark. But anyway, starts with a D. Why can't I? Deering, Mark Deering. Okay. Anyway, so these are the covers. That's the first issue. Second issue, of course, has a big dinosaur on it. So, yeah. The third issue, which has a kind of a Looney Tunes joke here with our main hero, his girlfriend sitting on this massive pile of explosives. And then, of course, I went Looney Tunes with this one as well. Anybody who's seen any Wile E. Coyote cartoons where he's about to get crushed by something and pull out the umbrella. So yeah, this is a really fun series. It got really well reviewed, just no one bought it. So it was an abysmal failure, but you can get it in trade. And I highly recommend you getting it because it's kind of a fun read. Okay. This is actually the finished version of that Herculoids cover that I remember I showed you earlier. I had a half inked version of it. Well, I made Igu bigger and then re-inked the whole thing. And that's, so I kept it. This I always kind of dug because it was kind of a swamp thing-ish. This is a piece I did for Emerald City Comic-Con book. And you can obviously see the Wrightson influence on this. I also colored it, but I colored it in Photoshop. So speaking of swamp creatures, there's a Man-Thing proposal piece that I did where Man-Thing gets abducted by aliens and they mess around with his head, and then it activates his brain so he can actually think for a limited amount of time. So he has to save the world while he's cognizant before he loses his consciousness again and becomes just this mindless shambling Hulk. So I thought it was actually a really cool story, and Marvel said they would let me do it, but they never did. And that was one of the reasons I left. I went to DC because Dan DiDio promised me they'd let me do some writing, which he did. And I wrote the Metamorpho miniseries and the Garbage Man stuff, of course, I wrote, and then some Conan stuff, but that actually ended up being over Dark Horse, and then that Batman story, so anyway. But I still think this would be a really cool Man-Thing story, although who'd buy a Man-Thing story, I don't know, but I'd still do it. Original Garbage Man promo art right there. Oh, sorry, I'm laughing at some of the comments.
Do you have copies of Power Cubed we could buy from you? Yes, I do. I don't know if I have any trades, but I do have the miniseries books. So yeah, they would be like $2.50 a piece. Because like I said on the comics, all the comics, you have to buy $10 worth because it's free shipping. And if you didn't, I'd be paying more for shipping than you'd be paying for the comics. So why would I do it? I have to come out a little bit ahead for my trouble. So yes, if you'd like those, you can email me or message me after the video, and I will hook you up with some of those. They're $2.50 a piece. It's a 4-issue miniseries, so it'd be $10 for, and I'd sign them all and free shipping. So, and I kept this. Oh, wait a minute, it's not Plastic Man. Gail Simone's Plastic Man miniseries. I did the cover to the first issue. Although this might be a variant, I don't think it is. But you know, anytime I get a chance to drop Plastic Man, I'm doing it. And I'm keeping it because it's Plastic Man. This was my favorite of the Wonder Woman Conan covers. I had to do this whole city back here. Pain in the butt. But just the layout and how this whole sort of circular design layout that kind of sort of keeps your eye moving around to the main figures. And it's also slightly reminiscent of Barry Smith Conan cover. It has a giant bat on it. In my mind, it's like, ooh, it's kind of like an homage. But then you look at the cover and it's like, they're not really all that similar, other than there's a giant bat, you know, Conan's fighting. But anyway, so you can go look at that. And I think it's 8 or 9. It's not 8. It might be 9. Conan number 9. So you can check that out and compare the two and see if I'm a ripoff artist or not. But I really dig this cover, so I kept it. This is a creeper. Okay, here's a story. You want a con story? This isn't a con story, but it is a story. I'm in DC offices trying to get work right after Ultraverse kind of folded. Someone said that I do an awesome Conan, and oh, there he is. Angela said that. Thank you. I appreciate it. When you're done. Mike sent me a link to his thing when I'm done here, but I may not be done for a while, Mike, so we'll see who stays up the latest tonight. Anyway, so here's the story associated with this. I'm not going to drop the editor's name because I don't like doing that, even though he's not there anymore. Even though he was a dick, I'm not going to mention his name. But so anyway, I go into the Batman office, right? I'm making my rounds, trying to get work, showing my portfolio and all that. I have this. Right. And I'm sorry, I don't normally pat myself on the back, but this is probably the coolest creeper drawing ever done by anyone. So I take this into his office, right? I even did the little lettering down there on the bottom. And I take it in, and he's looking through my portfolio, right? And he goes, and he was just being really sort of standoffish to me, like unimpressed with me, right? It was his whole shtick. And he goes, is that supposed to be the creeper? And I went, yes. And he goes, it doesn't look like the creeper. I mean, who says that, right? I mean, he was just being a total dweeb. But the funny thing is, as we're sitting there talking, this piece is laying open. He just says this to me, right? And the other guy that shared the Batman office walks in, looks over my shoulder, and he goes, oh, dude, cool creeper. And then he goes and sits at his desk, and I just kind of smugly looked at this editor who just gave me this kind of scowl, and we moved on to him chastising me for other things. But you know, I got a little sweet revenge right there at the moment, which was kind of nice. Oh, I see. Roscoe Davis says, we're really here because Aaron has a cute puppy while Mike has a cat. And that's true. Dogs are way better than cats. I did have one cat, though, that I really liked, but he was cool. He just kind of minded his own business and kind of hung out, never got in the way. When you were lonely, he'd come by and say, hey, you know, so, but that's the only good cat story I have. All right, so this is Tachyon. You may remember this series from the mid to late 90s, a series that almost killed my career, sold so poorly, DC blacklisted me. This is in the 90s. So this was the first time that I was out of work for like 3 months. It's kind of a bummer for me. Anyway, so
they did like this pinup book a couple of years later, a Who's Who, that's what it was. And Jack Kirby's secret Fourth World Secret Files thing. And so they asked me to do the tachyon for it, since I created the character or co-created the character. So I did this, and that turned out really well. So I was like, yeah, 98. And so I was like, you know what? Got dark side head back here, some cool lighting effects, and big nice shot of tachyon who no one cares about. Although, allow me to show you this. Excuse my reach. This is a tachyon HeroClick. I got no money for this, and they did. Oh, actually, no, I was going to say they sent me one, but I don't think they did. I think I had to go buy this, but it doesn't matter. It's still my character, and it's a HeroClick. Okay. Oh, well, while I'm doing that, how about this? This is how I try to legitimize myself. Okay, so this is an amethyst HeroClick. You'll notice the costume, if you can see it. It's based on my costume that I did for my miniseries. So I felt like, hey, I designed that. I should get one of these. I had to go buy it, but I did get it. Okay, one more. That Planet Hulk. Now, I didn't design any of that. I did work on Planet Hulk, obviously, but I didn't do the design work. But that's just a cool figure. So I got one. There you go. All right. The history of Aaron's toys. Okay. This is the promo piece for Metamorpho that when we announced the miniseries, and it may have been at San Diego, a panel at San Diego. It was maybe. It was at a big con. It either had to have been Chicago or San Diego, I think. But anyway, this was the artwork I did specifically for the pitch, and then they used it for the promo stuff because I hadn't done anything else at that point. That's why I kept that. Now I kept this because there's a big monkey on it. This is damage number 14 with Kongorilla. I mean, as Stanley would say, enough said, right? Why I would never sell this. But the other thing that's interesting is I drew damage in his fist. And then we looked at 2 issues earlier, he was smashing Batman's car on the cover in a very similar pose. And so then after I got this inked and we turned in, we're like, gosh, that pose looks too much like the cover from just the previous issue or the issue before. And so Dan DiDio, you got to change it. I'm like, ow! So I drew a new damage that, I pasted it in Photoshop. But this is the original untouched version. Look at this. Martian Manhunter and Marvin the Martian. The ultimate Looney Tunes experience. And the Frazetta planet in the background. So yeah, well, there's no way I'm selling this. You have to give me a lot of money. I mean, I'd sell anything. I'm not, don't get me wrong, but you have to give me a lot of money. This is my favorite Death of Hawkman cover. I just really like the way the Adam Strange figure turned out. It's very minimalist for me, I think. But the figure just turned out really well. And then the face back here, I just like the overall design of the cover. So it's a keeper. Okay, now this is interesting. This is inked by Rudy Nebrez. Okay, so after I got done working on Sludge at, where did I work? At Malibu. I picked up some gigs at Valiant, like a fill-in issue of Turok and things like that. And I really desperately wanted to do a Turok pinup and have Rudy ink it because that's his thing, right? His barbarians and stuff like that. But this is all they had, and the editor, funny, didn't want to use Rudy because he said he dropped a lot of tood, which I thought was funny because I've met him a few times. And I didn't get that impression from him at all. But this was my way of getting a Rudy Nebrez original without paying for it. So I penciled it, and then he went in, and I'm not kidding. He didn't redraw the stuff, but he redrew some of the anatomy, and he redrew the chick's face. And actually, the girl that I drew was much prettier than his. But you know what the heck. And my perspective, because I was winging some of it, was a little bit off. He corrected that. Changed her hair. She was blonde. And then he gave her the old Rudy hair. And so, I mean, I was just thrilled to get it. I didn't care that he changed it at all because I really just wanted a piece inked by him. And so I've got that. Andrew wants to know if I ever drew Mantra for the Ultraverse. I drew one cover. And then I drew her in the God Wheel miniseries, if you remember that. Okay, so that's it. Those are the pages and the covers that I've kept for myself over the years. And I try and keep I'm going to go grab a sketchbook. So excuse the, well, let's just do this. It's better than looking at the floor, right? I try and keep a page out of every comic I work on. And it's usually not like the best page in the book, but it happens to usually end up being like one of my favorites for just an oddball reason. Like I like a certain face on the cover, or pardon me, one of the faces in one of the panels or something like that. But I always try and keep at least one page. And the reality is, you know, you never sell all your pages anyway. So I'm keeping pages from every issue, whether I want to or not. All right. So now we turn back. Oh, sketchbook time. All right. That's just some really good camera work right there. Gary Shipman inked my pencils. That's funny. Are all the pages for sale on your website available, or does it need to be updated for sold ones? Michael, I think it's been updated more than 2/3 of the way down. So, like, if I'm not sure all the Mystic pages are updated, but everything. I'm not going to say everything. Most everything on there is updated. Okay. However, all my new stuff is not listed on my website. So I think the most recent thing that's on that website is, I don't even know. Like Conan and Wonder Woman isn't even up there, and I did that, what, 3 years ago. All the covers are updated, but the interior pages, like the Justice League stuff is not on my website. The Aquaman stuff is not on my website. The Conan and Wonder Woman stuff is not up on the website. I think Death of Hawkman is, but I think that's probably the most updated, and that's, what, 4 years ago? So it's pretty pathetic. So you sort of have to contact me directly, and then I can send you scans of what I've got. If you got certain pages you're interested in, and, you know, I can hook you up that way. But yeah, I apologize. I just, the guy who does my updates and stuff actually has a day job. So it's difficult to get, and then I have a day job, so I'm not getting him the stuff, and it takes a while for him to do it. And then, you know, it's one of my goals in life is to get that thing completely updated before the end of the summer, and I just have not been able to manage it, mainly because I've been bogged down with working on Justice League, which is not me complaining, but it's just Justice League is a lot of work. And then also trying to, you know, do my all my solo projects that I'm slowly working on. Anyway, we're going to start drawing because, you know, you guys have been here for an hour and a half and I haven't drawn anything. Wow, what entertainment, man. All right, so let's see what's on the old books. Steve Branson, he wants not just one sketchbook, but two. He wants Wonder Man and he wants the Falcon. Not in the same book, but, you know. So I actually drew Wonder Man quite a bit when I was doing Ms. Marvel. Pardon me while you watch me type. I just want to make sure. I have the right reference. heaven forbid, I should actually draw the wrong character, right? What the heck? Or type something in and it doesn't work? That makes no sense. Wonder Man Marvel. That should do the trick, shouldn't it? Now let's see what happens. Yeah, oh, there he is. He wants the groovy, you know, wearing the shades, you know. So I guess that's what I'll do. I'll do the groovy wearing the shades version. All right. Now, again, these are what I'm about to do here, which you're about to see, may shock you. Now, what you're about to see is a $45 version of my sketchbook, which is basically me doing a sketch on the inside. And there's our little nice desk. Yeah. Hyper Potatoes, are you doing any commissions this ErinCon? I am, but my list is already full, believe it or not. Lloyd, if you'd love a Conan Wonder Woman page, you may contact me at any time. Okay. Because I have a lot of good ones left. Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna depend on what my schedule's looking like through the end of the, Saturday, because I don't really want to be extending these sketches because I'm already getting behind my Justice League stuff doing this. So I don't want to extend past this weekend. But I've got some people that sent me out some books that haven't got here yet that I'm supposed to sketch in. So I may be available. Well, let's just take a look, because today's Friday, right? Well, I forgot to go to the post office and check to see if any of those books showed up, and I know they're not open tomorrow anymore. So let's see. Let's see the old commission list, see what it says. All right, so I did Miss Marvel yesterday. It's not finished, but almost finished. I did pencil a Supergirl, but I didn't ink it yet. And then I've got, okay, that's a book that hasn't shown up yet. I got Wonder Woman Thor, which I'm going to do tonight. This is a long feed, people. Can you stay with me? Then I got tomorrow, I'm doing The Creature from the Black Lagoon. And then I've got two more. Now, I think I'm full. Sorry. I just don't think I'm going to be able to get any more done. But this isn't the last ErinCon either. So what a lot of people do, the smart thing to do is to get on my list for the next one. Because I'll probably do one around New York time, you know, in October or something. And so if you get on my list now, then you're sure to get one then. So that would be my advice. So, and how do you do that? Well, you email me or message me. So you email me at aaron@aaronlopresti.com, which is one of the scrolls I had going up there forever. And then or you can message me on Facebook or Twitter, whatever you're attached to. That 80s Wonder Man, I don't know, man. He could be Hank Pym, he could be Clark Kent. But I think if I go in with a turtleneck, I think then we'll probably, you know, everybody will know. All right. I guess his glasses are square. He used to have the kind of these funky visors too. I can't remember when I drew him in Ms. Marvel. You know, I should type in my name in the search, and then it'll come up, right? If I put Lopresti Wonder Man. Ooh. There's a Wonder Man kissing Ms. Marvel, a little romance, but I can't really see his face. Ooh, that's what I want right there. Oh, you know, he wasn't wearing the glasses then. He just had sort of the glowing red eyes. Because, you know, Wonder Man is a wonder. I need to get that issue, and I know who's got it. Lloyd's got it. The issue, first appearance of Wonder Man in Avengers #9. He dies in that same issue, which is, you know, kind of tragic. Okay. Let's get on camera. That looks like Clark Kent, doesn't it? Okay. Jason says, if we want a sketchbook, do we just go ahead and send the PayPal, or do we need to email you first? No, just send the PayPal, but make sure that your address is on there and what you want in the book. If you want a sketch in the book, tell me what you want in the book, and then I use that to, you know, get the book ready, do the sketch, ship it out, all based on that that PayPal invoice that you send me, or that payment you send me. So if you do that, it'll give me all the information I need, and it won't be confusing, because if I get emails from you plus PayPal, and I'm easily confused. So just PayPal me with the correct information and you're good. Shane Simek says, love your behind the scenes stories. Thank you, Shane. I'm glad I didn't put you to sleep. Bert Van Vliet, are you wimping out? I'm on Eastern time, sorry. It's only 9:30. Well, maybe 10:30. It's Saturday, you don't have to get up tomorrow. Or maybe you do, I don't know what you do. Do we claim sketches here? I don't know what that means. No, it's, no, you have to email me about sketches. Unless you want one in the book, you can. Is that what you're talking about, Nico? Do we claim sketches here? Yeah, for anything art-wise, email me first and then pay. But sketchbooks and prints, just pay me, PayPal, and make sure I have your address. And again, what you're sending me money for. Don't just send me money. But anything that's art related, you're going to have to email me first or message me. Now, if you want a sketchbook with a sketch in it, I will do those this weekend, and probably will do them live on one of my 2 remaining shows. But as far as the 11x14 convention con sketches, I'm booked up for what I'm going to be able to get done. Does look like Superman. If I just gave him a S curl, he would be Superman, but I'm not going to, because this isn't supposed to be Superman. It's kind of got that middle part. I never really dug that. That's why I voted to have Jason Todd killed in that Superman comic. We had, like, remember, you had to phone in and say if you wanted him to live or die. He said, anybody with hair that bad needs to die. And now look who's talking. I have no hair left. But I was in college then, and I did have hair. So I was like, that is just a bad hairdo, and he needs to die. Actually, I've always hated Robin, every version of Robin. So I would have voted for any of them to get killed.
Rodney just sent payment for a sketchbook. Groovy, thank you. All right. Now let's ink this thing and bring it on home. You know, I got like 100 pens over here, and not one of them is the one that I want. I'll use a 5. What the heck? Okay, here we go. All right. Now okay, here they are. They got, see, when you got this much junk on your desk, oh my gosh. I think one time my wife actually came in and cleaned up my studio, and I was just like, you know, thank you so much for cleaning up my studio, but don't ever do it again because now I can't find anything. So it's like, yeah, there's stuff I can't find, like pens and pencil erasers, but all the main stuff that I use every day, excuse my bald head, but I dropped my pen. But I can find all the stuff I have to find. But somebody come in and clean and organize, oh my gosh, what a nightmare that would be. So I have this bag full of 0.8s, and I pull out, there's only 1.3 in there, and that's the one I pulled out. All right. It's a good thing I can talk forever because there's very little going on in this video. All right, here we go. Yes. Okay, I'm thinking of getting another one with Godiva. Well, you can get as many as you want, Rodney. I buy 10. Who did you want in the first one? You're thinking about getting Godiva, but who did you want in the one you just paid for? I'm being quiet while I'm waiting for him to answer like he's gonna. Okay. Did Byrne come up with this hairstyle? I mean, I don't know. John Byrne and I got in a couple fights. Well, I shouldn't say fights. I should say a little verbal sparring. You know who's a cool guy? Rick Leonardi is a cool guy. I used to hang out with him at cons a lot. I haven't seen him in ages now. I don't know why the reason that came up is because I got into a sparring match with Byrne while at dinner with him and Rick Leonardi. Because Rick and I were going to dinner at a Motor City Con, and John Byrne, who I didn't know at the time, I mean, I knew who he was, obviously, but I didn't know him personally, came walking up and sort of invited himself along for dinner. And so we clashed a little bit. I have a real problem with people dropping attitude, especially comic book people. It's like we're not saving the world, you know what I mean? So if you're a comic book artist or a writer and you think you're like all that, it kind of annoys me. So I tend to get a little smart alecky, shall we say, when faced with that type of personality. We're all just people, Watch out, I might get deep here in a minute. Yeah, probably not. When I was a younger artist, which is certainly a far cry from what I am now, I used to think that drawing heroes and designing heroes and characters without any pupils was really cool looking, and it is sort of. The problem is when you're actually drawing a book and the character has no pupils, you never know which direction they're looking, right? So you always have to draw their face looking in the direction of whoever they're talking to or whatever, right? Or you can't tell where they're looking. Like this, if I wanted him looking out the corner of his eye back, back over here, I can't do it because I have no pupils to work with. So it was just one of those things you go, man, it looks really cool when you do it that way. And then you actually start trying to do storytelling with it. And you're like, this really is like Storm. It's tough sledding, man. The travails of a comic shop or comic artist. All right, here's a story for you. I don't know how many people are old enough to care about this, but and you have to be familiar with Wrightson for one level of the story. So Rick Hoberg, who was artist for years over at, he still is. I mean, it's not like he's dead or anything. But he worked at DC and other places, and he ended up coming over to the Ultraverse same time I did. And he did a book called Strangers with Steve Englehart. And a bunch of us went over to his house. It must have been when we had the big Malibu press conference, the Ultraverse press conference was a really big deal, and they flew us all down there and wasted their hard-earned money flying us all down there for this big press conference. And it was kind of cool. But anyway, so we went over to his house for just to hang out or dinner or drinks or something. I can't remember. And so I walk in his house, right? And I'm going to grab a drink of water before I finish this story. That's the back of my neck. So I walk in his house, and right in the entryway by the front door is, if you've looked at if you've seen Wrightson's book, A Look Back, right? That big comprehensive collection of Wrightson work. There's a John Carter of Mars picture that he did kind of painting, and it says John Carter of Mars, and then Tars Tarkas is standing behind him, mostly in shadow, very Wrightson-y. Well, and I'm a Wrightson honk, okay? So I walk in the door, and there's that original just hanging right there by the front door. And it was just like unbelievable. So I thought, well, that's amazing, and kind of made my evening. And I was like, well, it can't get any better than this, can it? Well, when we walk into his like studio family room area, and up against the wall, he has stacks of comics. And I mean, not like stuff he just bought, but I mean like from the early 60s and stuff, right? And I'm like, and they're not like boarded or bagged, and I'm a collector, and I'm very anal retentive about condition and stuff. So I'm just going nuts, right? And sitting on top, there's a stack about waist high, farthest from the wall, sitting on top of it, Spider-Man #1. Amazing Spider-Man #1, just sitting there, not bagged, not boarded, not protected, sitting there in a pile. And I just flipped out. And I'm like, why aren't these boxed up and boarded, and all that? That's worth a fortune. And he goes, comic books were made to be read. And I'm like, I said, okay, I'll tell you what, why don't you give that to me and I'll read it for you. Oh my gosh, we had these amazing books just piled up in the corner. It was cool and shocking and horrifying all at the same time. Aaron, how many of the current Justice League run are there? I'm trying to figure out my payment total. You're talking about the comics, right? 4. There's 41 and 42, and then 48 and 49, and of course 50, which isn't out yet. But so yeah, the ones I have here, there's 4, unless you want, extra like alternate covers. Then there would be 6 because I still have 2 of the alternate covers left. But for just the regular books, and you can have you can have whatever cover you want. But there's 4 of them, so at $2.50 a piece, $10, and that's the minimum. So there you are.
So that's the story of Rick Hoberg, abuser of valuable comics. Okay, so here's another story. Back in the mid-90s, Gary Martin and I, Gary was inking Sludge over me at the time, or we just finished up or something. But he was the guy who was doing most of the regular inking on my work at the time. And we were like, man, we need to form a studio. You know, there's a lot of talent here in Portland. Let's put a studio together. So, you know, I thought that'd be great to get out of the house for a while. If we get enough people, we can it'll be low rent, you know, and so we started looking for spots, and then I found a place, and down by the train station in downtown Portland, which is probably a war zone right now, but it was a cool space, and in this old building, right? It's about 1,200 square feet, which is, you know, pretty nice for a studio. And so I started getting people. We called Terry Dodson and Matt Haley and everybody we knew in the area, Carl Kiesel, Randy Emberlin. And the idea was to get as many people as we could, so the rent would be like super low. Ron Randall. And so that's kind of how we got everybody on board to join the studio. Terry came up with the name Studiosaurus. I did the logo. Although Terry did the lettering on the logo, I did the dinosaur drawing for the logo. And we formed the studio. So what's the moral of the story? The moral of the story is we put this big white board, drawing board, you know, cardboard, and bolted it onto the wall. And it was like 3 huge sheets. So it was this long, big mural we wanted to make. And we wanted everybody, every time someone came into town for a convention, like a Portland show, we'd throw a party at our studio. We'd have them, you know, invite everybody over. We'd supply some food and drinks and blah, blah, blah. And then we'd get various artists to draw on this board. And the goal was to get it filled up with really cool people, right? Well, we got a Mignola Hellboy on there, and it was huge. I mean, huge. And you think, wow, that'd be worth a fortune. And not that, you know, I mean, I still have it, but because I would never sell it unless I gave it to charity. But the problem is, he used a Niji stylist. Okay, I don't even know if they make those pens anymore, but they fade, right? So he drew this elaborate Hellboy, right? It's just a great piece, huge piece by Mignola, and it has literally disappeared from the board. Talk about tragic. I mean, you can barely see it. But we also had an Art Adams, but he did his self-portrait, which is actually kind of funny. And then Kevin Nolan, but he did a self-portrait. I was hoping he'd do Batman or something cool, but he did a self-portrait, which is actually kind of funny. Dan Jurgens did a Superman, so that was cool. Ron Friends did a picture of himself bowing to Dan Jurgens' Superman, which we all thought was hysterically funny. I drew the Man Thing. Shocker. Who else was on there? We had various people come in and do stuff. So it was kind of a cool piece, but it was very, very sad that Mignola's Hellboy has just like disappeared. Because I kept thinking, how many thousands of dollars is that thing worth? If you could still see it. Oh well. Yeah, it is a heartbreaking story about the Mignola piece. Fly Fox Pro goes, no, I'm an alternate cover guy. Oh, I'm not an alternate cover guy. Comics are meant to be read, except Spider-Man #1. Get the reprint and then protect the first issue. And I know, Lloyd, you've got a Spider-Man #1. You must have one. You have everything else. And you just rub it in my face. When I was a kid, you know, like 11 years old, and you'd always have you'd dream about stuff. I mean, not like when you're asleep, but you daydream about, wouldn't it be cool if this happened to me, or if I met somebody or whatever. somebody cool or whatever. I used to dream, wouldn't it be great if I was riding my bike to the 7-Eleven to pick up comics, that I found this old box on the side of the road, and in it was a Spider-Man #1. I used to fantasize about that happening. Never did. Never saw one at a garage sale. Never saw one at an estate sale. I did pick up a Luke Cage #1 at a garage sale, or pardon me, an estate sale. So that was, it's actually a pretty good find before it kind of exploded and became really super valuable. But yeah, so I was full geek mode even as a 11 or 10, 11, 12-year-old. And it's funny because for me, I mean, a lot of people read comics for a lot of different reasons. But the thing that originally attracted me, because I was an artist even as a little kid, I was drawing all the time, right? And I thought my goal was in life to be maybe an animator or something. So I would, you know, as a really young kid, I would be drawing stuff like oops. Oh, darn it. I had his collar up here, and then that's all right, we'll do this instead. I drew the sweater where his collar was supposed to be. Anyway, you know, I would draw like Flintstones and Popeye and things like that when I was a kid. And when I discovered comics at like age 9 or whenever it was, that was just like, I mean, it just, everything changed for me. That was like the coolest art form ever. And so I was really the art that attracted me to the comics. And I started reading them, of course, and I got hooked on all the characters and the, you know, the soap opera that was involved in, you know, the romance and all that kind of stuff with Spider-Man and Mary Jane, or Gwen Stacy before Mary Jane, and Cap and all his problems, and Mantis and the Swordsman and all that kind of groovy stuff. But even as a kid, I would only buy comics of artists that I liked. You know, so I always bought John Buscema's stuff, and Sal Buscema was fine, and you know, John Byrne, when he was being inked by Perez on Avengers, you know, things like that. Plug drawing Man-Thing. Oops, sorry. Plug drawing Man-Thing. I mean, I bought some regular books. Like I always bought Spider-Man, no matter who drew them, and you know, I started buying the Invaders, but I could never, you know, I'm sorry, but I could never get into Frank Robbins' artwork. Just I never really made it for me. So I suffered through those books for a while because I was reading them, and I just could not. I just couldn't take it. But I was never one of the guys who bought a comic and had no idea who wrote or drew it. I mean, I knew that stuff, and I paid attention to that stuff even as a kid. All right, there's Power Man. Handsome devil. We'll go ahead and sign that. And I want to say that's 173, but better check the old Bat book. You've got 7 of them. You do not. Lloyd, you do not have 7 Spider-Man #1s. You are a liar. Okay, I shouldn't have called you a liar. That's not very nice. But seriously, you have 7 #1s? This is ridiculous. 173 it is. 7 #1s. All right, that's what we call completed. All right, we've been going for 2 hours, and you're still with me, and I appreciate it because we are not done yet. I am going to work on that Wonder Woman 4 piece because I promised I would. And I'm good
for my word. And look at Hybrid X just joined us. I can't quit now. Not when Hybrid X just joins us. Wonder Man, not Power Man. Well, okay. He used to be, he was Power Man and he became Wonder Man. Isn't that right? Isn't Power Man, the original Power Man became Wonder Man. And then, okay, take that back. The original Wonder Man became, no, okay. The original Power Man, the original Power Man became Wonder Man. And then Luke Cage became Power Man. That's how it went. Okay. See, now you got me questioning, did I draw the right guy? Wonder Man. Yes, I did draw the right guy. Okay, I'm fine. I'm good. That's the Supergirl. It's working on. I could finish her, but I'm not going to. I'm going to draw this Wonder Woman Thor amalgam because it just seems so interesting to me. All right, Aaron, payment sent for those for some comics. All right, groovy. Yeah, but 4 or below 3.0. Okay, Lloyd, what's your highest graded? Thank you, FlyFox Pro. I will put those aside tonight and get those packaged up for you. Lloyd, what's your highest graded Spider-Man #1? While I attack this, let's see, how do I want to do this? Oh, I know what I want to do. An 8.5, that's pretty stinking good, actually. I was at WonderCon when it was in Oakland. Shelly and I were just married, so 94 maybe, and 94 or 95. It couldn't have been any later than that. And Motor City had, and there was no grading back then. CGC, I don't think it existed. And they had a Spider-Man #1 in fine condition, right? I went $2,500 for it. Should have done it. I should have done it. I didn't really have the money, but I should have done it. And, you know, it's too late now. Because fine condition is probably about a $15,000 book now, would be my guess. And I don't have that kind of change laying around. If I did, I wouldn't be doing these shows. All right. I got to get the figure right as I stated before, but you got to get the face right. All right. Let's see here. Quoth the Raven, Louis Brightraven. Aaron, if I order a sketchbook and a sketch, will you draw a sketch of my character with provided reference? As long as it's not too complicated. Okay, they're just headshots anyway, so I guess how bad could it be? So yes. Unless it's something really freaky, weird, that's just, I don't know, disturbing or something. I'd be bored otherwise, yeah. So you have a 7.0, a 5.0, and an 8.5. I mean, Lloyd, do you have so many comic books that you're like, you have to rebuy stuff you already have because you wouldn't have anything else to buy? You must sell some of those, right? I mean, some of your comics, you must. I remember you telling me my character reference was too complicated. I refuse. That's what Bert says. Let's give Bert a little shout out here. How come Bert is a little man hiking? It's a backpack and a walking stick. Anyway, it shows guys will bring me like their gaming characters they've created, right? And they
always, I mean, they're always women, of course, but they're always just got this complicated, convoluted armor and stuff. And you're looking at it going, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And then they have wings, and it's just like, so I said, no, I'm not doing people's own characters anymore, because it's just constantly looking at the reference, trying, oh, what is that belt? How does that belt work? And it's just, yeah, it's too much of a pain in the butt. So I don't do them anymore. But a headshot, I don't know. I mean, how complicated could it be, really, right? I'm not really answering your question, am I, Raven? Lewis Bright Raven. I know Lewis Bright Raven. Where do I know you from? I know I haven't spoken with you either on social media or to con or something in quite some time, but I do know that name. Old age is whatever. Actually, I have never been good at remembering people's names, even when I was young. I'm not old. I'm young. I'm older than I was when I was younger, but I'm not old. I refuse to accept that. I'm not even really sure of her costume. I'm gonna have to pull up some reference for this Wonder Woman costume, or Wonder Woman Thor costume, or something. That had to have been one of the amalgam books, right? When Marvel and DC did those. I thought those are all kind of sort of interesting, especially that Doctor Strange Fate that Garcia penciled and Kevin Nolan inked. Whew, that was nice. That's funny. There's actually a couple funny. Oh, look, there's a picture. Ashley uses a picture of her and Stan Lee. Wow, what a name dropper. Yeah, I'm still here, and I'm not going anywhere for a while. What else we got here? My character I'm drawing the comic for now is pretty simple because I have to draw it. That's good stuff. Let's see. Lower grade Spider-Man 1s are being sold to someone who restores old comics. Now, see, that's the interesting thing. Because once a book is restored, you lose so much value for it. It almost, unless you just want to have a nicer looking book to keep for yourself, it sort of defeats the value of getting it restored. Unless you try to slide it by somebody as an unrestored book. Hard to do that these days. Everybody's too savvy. Except me. Actually, I know what to look for. It's just I trust people. When that's my first mistake. My dad's usual line is, you may not like getting older, but it beats the hell out of the alternative. Boy, isn't that the truth? I guess it depends on where you think you're going when you die, too. Let's see. I've said hello on these Aaron Cons before, and back when you were with Studiosaurus and Atomic Toy Box was being solicited, I interviewed you about that, and I own an Ultraverse pinup you and Jensen did. Okay. See? Lewis Bright Raven, that's coming back to me now. Check your messenger for reference to the character. Okay, I will. Not right this second, but I will. It was issue 3. What are we talking about here? Rodney Ulabari comes in with it. It was issue 3. So he's talking to somebody. You guys, I can't remember what I said 10 seconds ago. So if you're responding to something I said, and there's like a minute delay on this, so it could have been anything. It was issue 3. What were we talking about? I'm pretty sure you didn't know my name. That's why you just called me Underoos. Ashley, what does that have to do with anything? Where did that come from? Oh, because I said I can't remember anybody's name? Yeah. Well, there may be some truth to that, but I do know your name is Ashley and your brother's name is Ryan. Huh? See, I'm getting better. But you have to see, the problem with me is if I don't see somebody regularly, or talk to them regularly, I'll forget their name, even if they're someone I like have known for years. So if I haven't seen you like in 2 years, I'll be like, what was your name again? So, but I may have called you Underoos. Well, I'll tell you that's a good excuse, but I always nickname people anyway. So even if I had remembered your name, I would have called you Underoos. She showed up to San Diego in Underoos one time, so that's why I called her Underoos. She was much younger though, I think. Or were you? Were you an adult when you did that? That's even more shameful. Or it's funnier. I don't know. But yeah, there's probably some truth to that. I'm not saying that I didn't forget your name, because I probably did, because I didn't see you very often. But now I know it's burned into my memory banks. Excuse me, I'm getting dry throat here from talking so much. Well, responding to a post here that Lloyd just made, he says, depends on the book being restored. Spider-Man is a key hot book always, does well at any sale and auction, even restored. Well, I restored Spider-Man #1. Yeah, okay. That was the one great thing that I always say about Spider-Man, because I had a complete Spider-Man run 2 and up. I never had #1, and I sold it out of frustration one day simply because I knew I'd never get a #1. So I just said, this is as far as this collection's going, so I might as well sell it and move on to something else. So I did, which I kind of regret, but not really, because I did use it for a kitchen remodel, which is important. But the one thing I found about Spider-Mans is they will sell in any condition. They're the easiest book to move in any condition. So you are right about that. My Spider-Man collection, the biggest problem with my Spider-Man collection was most of the books I bought when I was a kid, either off the stands, or at old bookstores. I'd get back issues, but we didn't have nobody necessarily really took care of the comics. So we go to the old bookstores and we would just, you get the best condition they had, and a lot of times it wasn't very good. So a lot of my key issues of Spider-Man were in crappy condition, which always sort of ticked me off. So I started rebuying them in higher grade, and then I'd sell the lower grade ones on eBay. And so I had it was a much better collection, because I started in the probably in the 30s and started upgrading books that needed to get upgraded. And so most of the collection from 40 and up, with a few decent issues in the 30s, were in pretty nice shape. I had a VF Amazing Spider-Man 28, which is the first appearance of the Molten Man, and it's a black cover, so it's really hard to find in high grade. But I bought that from a comic store like when I was a kid for $5. But now I'm collecting Avengers, and it's like I'll never get Avengers #1, but I don't know. You got to collect something, right? I mean, you can't not collect. At least I can't. So, and I went and got a run of Silver Surfers a few years back. Happened to find some guy on the internet who had the whole run well, all the Giants anyway, in near mint. And so I got every. He had three through. Well, he had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 5 issues of the Giants in that I didn't have, that I got in near mint from him for $80 or less. So I was quite pleased with that. And then I would go and, I didn't have the Barry Smith Conan, so I went and bought all those. And now I sort of go after covers and first appearances that I like. And trying to get more Golden Age, which are super expensive now, of course, but they hold their value. So I don't feel bad if I spend a lot of money on a book, because I know I can get that money back at some point if I need to. And since I may be out of work in August, I may need to sooner than later. I was like 16 in my Spider-Man boxers. Okay, well, that's Ashley. I think that deserves to be displayed. I was 16. Yeah, you weren't a little kid when you wore your underoos to San Diego. All right. An 80s DC comic book called Slash Maraud. I have never heard of that. Slash Maraud? Was that actually the name of the book, or was that just the character in the book? Slash Maraud. I can honestly say, and I'm not a huge DC guy, despite the fact I've worked for him for like 12 years. I was a Marvel zombie growing up. So I certainly did not hear or would be privy to all the DC characters, but I never heard of that one. Lloyd, of course, has 4 Avengers #1s. So yeah, just kind of rub it in my face more, Lloyd. What other books do I? Oh, and you said you had. So you have an All Select #1. You have a Captain America #1. That's just sick. Marvel does rock, Ashley. Marvel does rock. It was the name of the book, written by Doug Mensch. Really? I'd never heard of that. Paul Galassi and Doug Mensch. Wait a minute. And that was a DC book? I remember when they did Saber. No. Was it Saber or Sable? No, Saber. But that was like an adult book, and it was, I think Eclipse published that in the, I remember finding it at, there was this bookstore in downtown Portland, right? And they had nothing but like, pot magazines like High Times, rock magazines and underground comics. But they did have, like they would carry comic portfolios, like if Wrightson, like his Edgar Allan Poe portfolio or the Frankenstein portfolio, they would carry them. So I'd always go in there when I was downtown Portland and check in to see if they had anything interesting, and that's where I saw this Saber book by Paul Galassi and Doug Mensch, and I picked that up. It was probably a little too adult for me at the time, but they would also had like Media Scene, Stranko's newspaper magazine, and that had some cool stuff in it. So I would pick that up there. But they had like the Fabulous Freak Brothers and all that kind of stuff, which I was not into and did not read that stuff. But it was there. It's called Looking Glass Bookstore. And they, of course, went the way of most other bookstores and the dinosaurs, sadly. Man, that's one thing I do miss is bookstores. And I don't mean like, is it Amazon? No, it's not Amazon. Who has bookstores? They still have bookstores, but they're like connected to the internet sales. It's not Amazon, is it? We used to just have like all sorts of different kinds of bookstores there that would carry like, the ones that weren't chain affiliated. When I was a kid, there wasn't a lot of them. Like I think B. Dalton was the one that was chain affiliated. It was a chain. We had a store called the Book Vault at the mall, the small mall near where I lived, and they would have like the Frazetta books, and they had the, was it Simonson's Simonson's adaptation, him and Archie Goodwin did of Alien, the graphic novel. Remember when that came out in 78 or something? And they had that in the store, and I was like, you know, they had cool stuff that you wouldn't necessarily find in any other bookstore. But it was still, they still had the main stuff that you'd find at regular bookstores, but they also bought some of the more unique artistic type things like Ariel magazine, which would have like, you know, fantasy art interviews, artists like Frazetta and Richard Corbin and people like that. All right, so we got a pretty good figure going here. And at some point, I'm going to figure out what her costume is. I'm going to pull up reference, but I'm not doing it yet. Let's see. Lloyd says, those were Granddad's comics. He had all those Cap comics. Anything war related, he had, plus a lot of early DC. See, look at this guy. The guy is born into a family where his grandfather collected comics. Man. The only thing I found at my grandfather's estate when he passed away was one of those big little books, Og, Son of Fire. And apparently it was my dad's when he was a kid because there was a nail hole right through Og's mouth on the cover. So my dad had apparently pounded a nail through the big little book. So that was what I got from my grandfather. How do we get on Colin? Ashley, what were you, because Marvel rocks. Well, that's true. Lloyd Delagarde says, as a kid, I used to go to used bookstores too. It was the only place that had them. Wraith, the Lulu, hey. See, I've been on for over 2 hours and someone is still coming in fresh and new. It's like a marathon session, man. You get me talking old comics, man, I can go all night. I probably won't, though, but I could. I got nothing to prove. Yeah, I don't think she'd be smiling. Wonder Woman Thor would be too pissed to smile. My flow of conversation is slowed here as I'm working on the face because I'm like in deep concentration. There's nothing more important than the face. I know she's got some sort of weird head thing on here. All right. I have to go get the reference, which means I have to go to Facebook, which means I have to type. You have to watch me typing. Nothing more exciting than this. Okay. We got a bunch of messages. Louis Bright Raven sent me one like 120 sailors, a way to get a price list. Yeah, okay, Tony, I'll have to do that. Michael Stevens. Wait, what am I looking for again? What did I do with that reference? I wonder if it's in my mail. Right there. Ooh, a bunch of people sent me money. That's great. I love to see that. Also, you guys, if you're, I should have said this earlier, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel or liking it, please do that. I would like to get my YouTube channel monetized before I die of old age. And the rate I'm going, I don't know that I'm going to get there. So help me out if you can. It's free to use, so you know, why not? What was the name of the guy that ordered this? I'm telling you, it wasn't Stefano. It wasn't Cal. It wasn't Ike. Oh, you know what? I can look over here. Okay, what am I drawing? Oh, Wonder Woman Thor. Okay, Adam, that's who it is. Okay, I think I can find him. Because he sent me reference. Gosh darn it, when people send you reference, you gotta use it. Adam, where are you? Ah, there it is. Wow, that's kind of racy. Okay, she's not wearing much. You can always tell when a superhero costume is designed by a female costume is designed by a dude. I don't know how much fighting she'd actually be able to get done in this outfit. Just one link would break and it could be an embarrassing situation out in the battlefield. It's so funny. When I was a kid, I never read like female hero comics, other than I did pick up Ms. Marvel because Buscema drew it, and it was like the drawing was so good. But so I never really thought about how skimpy some of their outfits were. It never even dawned on me because I really wasn't paying attention for those type of reasons. Is that a cape? Does she have a cape? Oh, I guess she does, yeah. Capes are always a pain in the butt for these convention commissions because it's like, 'cause I do all these in gray marker, so there's all this extra surface area that I have to fill in with marker. The cape. I know, poor Erin. It's a sad story. Okay, so she's got her sort of her Wonder Woman wristbands here. So I guess we all believe that Wonder Woman would actually be worthy enough to carry Thor's hammer. She seems like she's fairly high on the integrity list. Oh crap, that's not lined up right. That was stupid. I'll tell you though, there's nothing like Simonson's Thor. It's just, and you know what? Walter's up right now. I know he is because he stays up all night. It still isn't lined up right. I still got to fix that. All right. Okay. sure what's going on here. I think it goes like that. Excuse me, man. So yeah, this must have been back in the 90s when all the female characters had like these French cut bottoms and G-strings in the back practically, because that's how women dressed back then. They'd all go out in public like that, and certainly if they were fighting crime, that's how they would. The guy who actually ordered this from me was one of the, he works on Lois and Clark television show. I assume that's the old one with Dean Cain, but maybe there's a newer one. I mean, I don't know. I don't pay attention. It had something to do with, associated with that show somehow. What is that? I don't know what that is, but it's another kind of strange belt thing going on there. All right, so if that goes out there, that, bring this down a little bit farther. Let me get this crown thing that she's got on figured out before I, oh, I see. I'm going to say something, no, I'm not going to. I was going to say something about this design, but I don't know who designed it, so I don't want to cast dispersions. But it is very 90s looking, isn't it? Okay, got any interesting comments while I was away? Oh, Mark. Mark Anthony. I don't even care. It's not my shoe. Well, you know what? He's bringing back my great quotes of the year. Like and share. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Aaron, Moses before 2000 BC. Okay. Hi from Mike's channel. Howdy, Aaron. Mike sent me here too. Oh my gosh. Lady Celtic Moon. Howdy, Aaron. Mike sent me here. So, Mike sent Bear. Andrew J. Hello. Mike sent me. What do you get? Did Mike like shut down for the night, or did he just send you over to harass me for a few minutes? Let's see. Colin will get a bunch of stuff from. Oh, I see. I see. Ash, I'm partially reading people's messages, and I know you guys are like, what is he talking about? But I guess you can see them too. So it's not like they're my private secret messages. All the comics and all your prints. Well, Colin deserves all that good stuff. So make sure your dad gets in touch with me about that. Okay. Hi, Blacklist Universe stream sniping. Man, this is like Mike Miller's entire crowd just jumped over here all of a sudden. Fresh and new here, and I don't have to wait in line at the booth. Boy, isn't that the truth? You can just walk right in and look over my shoulder and see what I'm doing. The half-price books near my house that sold 25-cent comics closed because of COVID, and other ones near me have them all individually priced or bundled. Lame, I know. Makes you want to open up your own shop, doesn't it? Except then you wouldn't be able to make any money, so why would you do that? Hey, Mark, you got in touch with me, Mark Anthony, you got in touch with me about some prints and stuff and old sketchbooks. Did you get my return email? Because I haven't heard back from you. So,
Pimonia Mike stream. Doesn't Aaron have the best live streams? I do have the best live streams. Dazzler, okay. With short hair and bandana. Wow, okay. That's like the 90s Dazzler, isn't it? Yeah, okay. Dang, Aaron, you just jumped like 10 subscriptions. Sweet. See, I think people go in and watch your video and they forget that they're supposed to like subscribe. You just watch it and go, oh, that's fun. And you can go back and watch the next one. But so thank you for that. Ooh, Jalapeno Mike has joined us. It's like Hall H, let out and the audience floods in the exhibit hall. That's exactly right. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yep, Hall H just let out and everybody's coming in here now. What's that guy doing? Well, I'll tell you what he's doing. He's drawing. What was her name? Thor, Wonder Woman? No, what was it? Was it Wonder Thor? I mean, what was her name? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think I ever read that one. Dave Gibbons did like a Superman Captain America amalgam, I remember. And Carl Kiesel did, and Tom Grummett did Spider Boy, the Amazing Spider Boy, or something like that. That was Superman and Spider-Man and Superboy. Then of course there was the Doctor Strange Fate one, which I was talking about earlier. That was so awesome. And boy, I did not read the Wonder Woman one though. Caps were a little too massive, too Frazetta-y. She didn't have much on, so I didn't have to work too hard on the costume. Okay, I got to fix this hammer. Okay, so it should be coming straight down like that, which means it should be going more like this. And that should be going about like that. It's the simple things, really. I think this hammer, even though I'm doing perspective, it's still too big. Yeah, better. Better than what? I don't know. Better than what it was. All right. God, I'm not in love with her face. I'm still not in love with her face. Okay. 80s version, I guess, of Dazzler. Yeah, because she was like the disco roller queen. That was like in the late 70s when she first appeared, right? And then yeah, that's right. And it was like the later 80s. She had kind of the shorter hair and the, yep. So Ashley's son, how old is Colin now? Like 5 or I shouldn't say anything because he's like probably like 16 and driving. That's a pretty good question. Knowing that they're not in the same universe, you know. It's a very astute young man you have there. Just read an old review of Power. Okay, let's put this up on the screen. I just read an old review of Power Cubed. It says Power Cube is exactly the sort of comic I love and one you shouldn't pass by. It's bursting at the seams with charm, humor, and wondrous imagination. Yes. And no one bought it. Okay, so he's 6 now. Okay, I think I guessed 5. I wasn't too far off. So yeah, it was. But you know what the thing is? I did it through Dark Horse because they gave me some money up front, which made it. And I ended up all the money ended up going to my inker and colorist anyway. But I don't think it was a Dark Horse book. It was more of an Image book, I think. And that's just me making excuses of why it sold horribly. It wasn't my fault. But no, I do think it was a good book. It was a fun book, and I think people that actually read it liked it. It's just nobody read it. And that is the challenge of doing creator-owned books. You'd think, for as being around as long as I have, that I wouldn't have trouble getting enough people to buy an independent book to make it worthwhile doing. And yet, when you spend your entire career working on books no one's ever heard of, probably doesn't help your profile. I mean, I've done a few books that people have read, but I never had that big long run on X-Men, although I almost did. Ethan Van Sciver got my editors, X-Men editors, fired that were going to hire me to be the next big X-Men artist. And I went from being almost an X-Men artist to completely unemployed and had to go work at CrossGen. All because they pissed off Ethan Van Sciver and he made them pay. All right, that face is better. Okay. Is this one that could get a premium treatment in the future, Aaron? Are we talking about Power Cubed? Anything's possible. I mean, I started working on the script for the next miniseries, but when it failed miserably, I was like, okay, maybe that's a sign. I don't know. I think it's well worth exploring. Ashley, bye, Aaron. Whiskey is calling me. Check back soon. Okay, well, I may still be here. I may not. Who knows? That's pretty funny. Sound like Shelly. Shelly's got that little bottle of whiskey in the freezer. I'm not a drinker of adult beverages, so I don't really know much about that kind of thing. Let's see. Background on this character. Thor beat Billy Batson's Shazam, but Captain Marvel yelled Shazam, and the hammer flew to where Wonder Woman was, and she became Thor, and then she fought Storm. Sorry, I missed it. How does Captain Marvel... No, wait a minute. Would Thor really be able to beat Shazam? Boy, that would be an epic battle, wouldn't it? As my good friend, as I name drop my good friend Walter Simonson would say, it all depends on who's writing the story. That determines who wins the fights. So, I mean, Thor is pretty powerful, but isn't Billy Batson sort of a god too? Or, I mean, Shazam or Captain Marvel. I mean, well, wait a minute now. He has the strength of Hercules, and we know that Hercules got the best of Thor on more than one occasion early in their rivalry. All right. I think this is might be considered good enough for government work. That's an old saying. All right. Man, I don't think I have it in me. Ashley's going to come back after a whiskey binge, and I'm going to be gone, I think. Whew. Storm beat Wonder Woman in the story? Storm beat Wonder Woman with Thor's hammer? I don't know. They must have had like some sort of agreement, like that in half the books, the DC characters had to win, and the other half the Marvel characters had to win. I don't know. It's like when they did Roger Rabbit, and they had the Looney Tunes and the Disney characters in the same scene, and they had to reach an agreement that they that nobody got the best of Bugs Bunny and no one got the best of Mickey Mouse or something, and they were all on the screen for the same time, and it was just really. Thor saved Hercules from having to rule hell for all eternity, so he kind of owes him. I got to go back and read some of my Thor comics. I'm not up on my Asgardian mythology like I need to be. No, everybody, selling a creator-owned book is a tough road. It is, but the funny thing is, there's some really good quality out there. But I just think people get so attached to the iconic characters that they will ignore, even if they're being poorly done, and still buy them. And then you have new stuff coming out that may be really good, but no one recognizes, or they have no connection to it, so they don't, it means nothing to them. So it is a tough road.
Oh. Hold on.
Oh.
The beast
has awakened from a nap.
Yep.
All right. Well, this is a good time to cut out, I think, probably on ErinCon Day 2. Let me switch my banner really quick so we don't forget where we are. So anyway, we did this. I promise you guys, I'm going to get some of these inked and actually markered up so that.
There's the puppy.
Boo-boo. There, you can see him pretty good right there. He's got the hiccups. Look at that. Look at that old man face. He needs a cigar.
Get off my lawn, you kids. You darn kids, get off my lawn. He's so fun. All right.
So anyway, that means she's giving me the dog because I have to take him out.
I'm too lazy.
To go take a whiz. So let me zoom out here. Okay, so tomorrow morning, I'm working on Terry. I may have him tomorrow morning. Again, check my Facebook page and Twitter feed, because I'll put up, this dog wakes me up at like 6 every morning. So I'll be up early and I'll post early so that, say hi, quit biting me and say hi to everybody. Oh, he's getting all restless. So I'll post it early about when ErinCon 3 will start. Hopefully Terry will drop in and we can have a little conversation and do a little interview with him and get some quality information from him. But if not, I'll still be here. And I'm going to draw a creature from the Black Lagoon tomorrow, and I think I may take it from start to finish. So that'll be good. But anyway, the dog's saying, Erin, put me down. I'm going to pee. So I don't want him to pee on me. So I'm going to rock and roll. So everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. It's been fun. And it may even be more fun tomorrow. Who knows? Anyway, again, thanks for joining me, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. I'm trying to end the broadcast. Okay, catch you guys tomorrow.